Okay, so I'm gonna go to Joann's and get some stuff. I'm gonna attempt to make a hoodie that your animals can get inside of. I've been asked to do this a couple of times. I'm not gonna sew the entire hoodie, so I'm gonna buy a hoodie and add a pocket. That's my plan, Stan. We'll see. So we're on our way to Joann's. So there's fabric all over my car. And the reason for that, and it's in the back too. The reason for that is Joann's changed how you have to buy fabric if you buy in bulk. And so now in order to buy in bulk, you have to buy 4 of the same exact pattern of fleece, which is 32 yards if you're using anti-pill and 40 yards if you're using blizzard. So I have fabric all over the place because the racks in my sewing room are 100% filled. And I try to keep 12 patterns on hand at all times, and then I have to keep solids to go with them, so I literally have fabric everywhere. So let's go to Joann's and get some more fabric. All right, we made it to Joann's. They're doing construction on the highway where I live because some dingbat hit the freaking overpass bridge, so the whole highway shut down. So it took forever, but let's go. Picked out this sweatshirt. Now we gotta pick a pocket. How about a gray pocket? Let's see. I want something soft. Now we gotta pick a pocket. How about a gray pocket? Let's see. I want something soft. You guys, so for this tutorial, okay, first disclaimer, if you hear crunching in the background, it's my puppy. He needed something to chew on, so he's chewing on like a treat, and it's kind of crunchy. So sorry about the noise distraction. Okay, here's what you're gonna need. A sweatshirt. You can get one out of your closet. I didn't have one that I wanted to really tear apart, so I went and bought one. I would not, you can get them from Walmart pretty cheap. So I got a sweatshirt. That's the first thing. The second thing you're gonna need is some fabric. I got this new fleece from Joann's. It's Eddie Bauer, so it's like insanely soft. I'm not gonna put a lining on the backside because it's so soft that I don't think it's necessary. So the babies will be really soft in there anyway. So you'll need a piece of fleece or another piece. You could actually buy sweatshirt material from Joann's, so that's an option too. I was considering putting a zipper closure, but then I think to myself, I'm not going to zip the animal inside of a hoodie with no air vent. So a zipper seems a little bit excessive. So I'm not using zippers. If you want to do that, that's up to you. So I think I'm going to use these snap buttons. Snap buttons. They're snaps, but they're sew on, and they're kind of heavy duty. So I think this is what I'm going to go with. You could also use Velcro, but then you go right back to the same situation where you are sealing them into an area where they don't really have a lot of space to breathe. So I'm thinking that this is not like a travel pouch. It's more like a bonding thing. We could, I guess, technically put like a chain or a piece in there that you could hook a leash to keep them inside the pouch. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to make it a simple pouch that they could ride along with you, but you would have to obviously hold them and make sure that they're safe. Wow, thanks, bud. That's my cat. We're having everybody. They're not normally allowed in the sewing room, so this is a rarity. Can you move your butt? Okay, thanks. Come on, skedaddle. So the other thing you're gonna need are pins, clips, your sewing machine. You could do this by hand. I feel confident that you could do this by hand. It may take a long time, and you wanna make sure that you really put your pocket on tightly, but it could be done by hand. So what I'm gonna do now, do this. Let's lay out our sweatshirt. I got a large because, I don't know, seemed like a good size for me. Sorry about the glitter, that's not my doing. It came like that way from Joann's. So now we want to decide what size pocket we're going to have. Now luckily for us, we're doing ferrets, so we don't need it to be super huge. If you're doing cats, you're going to want a bigger pocket. You're going to want a pocket that at least fits your cats. I mean, that obviously makes sense. And you also want to make sure it's placed where you want it. So I'm going to put this up, hold this up to me. Okay, so I put on the sweatshirt. I want it to kind of be right around here. and maybe go down to about here. So we'll say right about here. I'm just going to put a tiny, like a pin right here. Okay. And then, let's see. I think this would be probably a good spot to stop it. That treat is for real, Bobo. Listen to that. Okay, so I'm going to take it off now. Okay, so I've marked my sweatshirt kind of where I want my pocket to go in this area here. Actually, let's measure and see how big this is. I'm going to do a pocket that's, we'll say 12 by 15. I'm going to measure a piece. I want to put some seam allowance on it to give it, to hide the raw edges. Okay, so my pocket, when it's done, is going to be around, around 12 by 15 inches. So what I want to do is I want to measure 2 inches extra on each side because we need to fold in the edges so that we don't have raw edges showing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure a piece of fleece that is 14 inches by 17 inches. And then we're just going to cut that out. So now you have your piece. This is the right side, which you can tell because it's much softer. So, at least for me it is. So now you have your piece. What we want to do is we need to fold these edges. Not too much. I'm going to do a 1/2 inch fold on the sides and on the bottom and a 1 inch fold at the top where you're going to put your pet in at. So I'm just going to fold a 1/2 inch. I'm eyeing this. You can measure it with a ruler if you'd like. I'm going to start at my bottom piece and I'm folding it so that I'm folding the right side's facing down and I'm folding back so that that it creates a nice pretty edge. So lay it right side's facing down and then fold back your edges. You're going to do this to all 4 sides. So we're going to do another 1/2 inch over here. And again, I'm eyeing this. So if you want precise measurements, you can absolutely use a ruler and get those. Okay, so this is the sides and the bottom. Now for the top, where you're going to put your pet in, I'm just going to fold it down a little bit thicker. I want to give it about 1 inch. It's nice and even, so it should look like that, kind of like a window. And then if you were to turn this over, you'll see that the edges are nice and smooth. You can't see the cut marks or any of that. Okay, so now you're going to go over to your sewing machine and you're going to want to stitch these down in place. So I'm just going to do a straight stitch to hold this in place. You could do a zigzag stitch or something else. Just remember that whatever stitch you do is going to come through to the other side. So I'm just going to do a straight stitch to keep it nice. So you should now have something that looks like this on the outside. It just looks like that on the back, but no one's going to see that. It's nice and stitched into place. Now grab your sweatshirt. I'm going to pin this in place and try it on. Okay, so now what you need to do is put this where you want it. And try to make it even on both sides. And we're going to want to pin this down and make sure that you're not pinning through, because you're gonna have to, when you sew this, you don't pin the back of the shirt, just pin the front. So I'm gonna pin this in place all the way around, and I'm gonna pin it like pretty good. And I don't really use pins a lot anymore, but for this, clips won't really work. I just want to make sure this stays exactly where I want it. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try this sweatshirt on. This is up kind of high, so if I wanted to, I might lower it to down here a little bit because I think it's a little higher than I wanted. So I'm going to adjust this. I moved it, I adjusted it. This is how it would be now, so it's a little bit lower. So I kind of like that better. The other thing I want to mention is if you wanted to put an additional pocket, like somewhere to hold treats or something like that, you wanted to put it here, you would want to put that on before you sew this part on. So you would do kind of the same thing. You would cut out your pocket, you would sew it to the front of this, and then you would sew everything together. I don't really need 2 pockets, so I'm not going to sew anything extra on here. I'm just going to sew on this. So what I'm going to do now is go over to my sewing machine and I'm going to stitch this pocket in place. Okay, so you're going to want to make sure that you don't sew the back of the sweatshirt. I have it kind of underneath, so I left my tray on. And just be patient and go slow and make sure you're not bunching up your shirt. And back stitch. And move your pins. I'm trying to stay in the same lines that I did when I sewed my pocket so that it will not have extra lines. We're going to see how this goes. So here it is. Here's my pocket. Oh, it's so exciting! Okay. Okay, so you could totally add Velcro or a snap. But like I said, I mean, are you really going to enclose them inside of here? Probably not. I mean, I'm not. But if you do, you just attach it to this outside, but you have to make sure you line it up. Here. Let's go get one of our babies and check it out. Let's go get... Okay, you ready? There we go. Hold on. All right, so he's in there. Oh, we did it. We did it. Say hi. Say hi. You see kitty? Oh, you see kitty? You see Kit Kat? Say hi, Kit Kat. Hi, Kit Kat. Let me see your face. Okay. Look at you. Look at you, Levi. You're so handsome. You're so handsome. You're so handsome.